I don't believe in this on the basis of the previous experience and my personal experience of negotiating with Russians within the framework of so-called trilateral contact group. I know for sure that Russians are using negotiations and not because they want to reach a compromise or any result. They're using it only as a tool of war, and it's part of their propaganda.
Now, look, we've been talking a lot, haven't we, about our own political issues today. President Zelensky is facing some serious ones of his own. His Minister of Justice has been suspended. His Energy Minister has resigned this evening after a corruption probe. Both of them deny wrongdoing. And meanwhile, the Russians are edging ever closer to seizing the strategic settlement of Pokrovsk. I can talk now to Oleksandr Merezhko, member of Volodymyr Zelensky's party, also chair of Ukraine's Foreign Affairs Committee. Oleksandr, welcome back to the show.
Great to be on your show. Thank you so much.
It's always good to have you with us, Oleksandr. I can see that you are in the middle of a blackout there in Kyiv. I mean, how's it going for you?
Yeah, I am like all the people living in Kyiv and other cities of Ukraine. Unfortunately, we have blackout for hours. And of course, we got used to this. But we realize that no matter what Putin is trying to do, he is trying to bombard us into submission. He already failed, and he will not be able to break our will and our desire to defend ourselves. So despite all odds, we want to survive and we want to defeat the enemy.
And now we're seeing, aren't we, Oleksandr, that the Kremlin is saying, again, it's been some months, but they're saying they are ready for talks, direct talks about the war with Ukraine. I wonder what you make of that. Do you make anything of it? Because I guess there's probably a tendency to think it's just yet more hot air from the Kremlin.
Yeah, I don't believe in this on the basis of the previous experience and my personal experience of negotiating with Russians within the framework of so-called trilateral contact group. I know for sure that Russians are using negotiations and not because they want to reach a compromise or any result. They're using it only as a tool of war, and it's part of their propaganda. But they have never been honest and negotiating in good faith. That's why I don't have any hopes whatsoever that Russians are serious. Putin is going to negotiate in earnest.
Yeah, I wonder, should we see this as, I don't know, just another product of pressure from President Trump on the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin to come to the table? But yesterday, just only yesterday, wasn't it, we heard from Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, saying that the aim of Russia was still the same. They wanted to address what they call the basic causes for the war, which is another way of saying they want to win. They want surrender.
Yes, absolutely. That's their goal, and they haven't declined. They haven't rejected their demands, and all they want Ukraine to surrender. This is what they call root causes, and they continue to have these maximalistic sort of demands and goals. For us, it's totally unacceptable because we are fighting for our survival. We will never surrender.
And look, there are problems at the top of government in Ukraine. That's certainly fair. President Zelensky was elected, promising to root out corruption. But now, Oleksandr, he's had to lose his justice minister. His business partner managed to flee the country before his apartment was searched. What is going on here?
Well, this news, it came as a shock for Ukrainian parliament, Ukrainian society. But what matters is that President Zelensky has delivered on his promise to create absolutely independent anti-corruption infrastructure. And we now see the results. We see that, first of all, no one is above the law, that no one is immune from prosecution. If someone is accused of corruption, we see that no one is going to cover it up, that ministers, members of parliament can be brought to justice. We have lots of, unfortunately, such cases, yes. But it's a sign that President Zelensky has zero tolerance towards corruption in the government.
Now, this particular case, Oleksandr, it involves the state energy company, doesn't it? Which will be, I suppose, quite bitter for a lot of Ukrainians to take if they're sitting like you are now in a blackout.
Yes, absolutely. To me, it's just incomprehensible. I still can't believe that it happened because to me, it's a kind of a cynicism because, we Ukrainian people are trying to endure difficult situation. Russians are trying to destroy our power grid and someone is trying to make business or involved in corruption. And that's why President said, made an official statement that no matter who is involved in these corruption schemes should be brought to justice. And there will be no mercy because it's absolutely unacceptable, especially in times of war.
Okay, Oleksandr Merezhko, always good to talk to you. Thank you.
Ukraine's government has suspended its justice minister amid an investigation into corruption in the energy sector that has caused public anger. In a Facebook post, Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko wrote on Tuesday, "We held an emergency government session and approved the decision to suspend Herman Halushenko from his duties." Authorities have charged 7 individuals in relation to an alleged $100 million kickback scheme involving senior energy officials, in a case that has intensified scrutiny of Kyiv's battle against corruption. Ukrainians are particularly sensitive to accusations of kickbacks in the energy sector, as many endure lengthy daily blackouts while the country defends itself against massive Russian attacks on its infrastructure. Halushenko previously served as energy minister. He said on Facebook that the suspension for the duration of the investigation is a civilized and appropriate scenario, and that he will defend himself in the legal arena and prove his position without sharing further details about the probe. His ministry said he is under investigation, but did not specify whether this is in relation to the energy corruption case being pursued by the National Anti-Corruption Bureau.
Про цю ситуацію, наскільки і сказав, що це буде найважча зима для Харкова.
Перший заклик до наших міжнародних партнерів – це, звичайно, допомогти нам додатковими засобами протиповітряної оборони, щоб ми змогли вберегти енергетику і пройти зиму без складних, скажімо так, ситуацій.
Атак Росії на українську енергосистему, чи не ведуться якісь переговори з нашими партнерами?
Так, і у нас Дніпропетровська область. І тут. Ну, і це у нас вже теж великий потенціал, уранову галузь. Ми справді сподіваємося, що угода вона приверне більше уваги до цього сектору і все-таки зробить іноземні інвестиції більш для іноземного інвестора більш зрозумілим сектор і більш привабливішим.
І от де є порт. І от, по суті, тут є все, по суті, Південний порт, є порти, які...
Плануємо реформу і уранової галузі спільно з Міністерством енергетики. Для чого там втратила своє родовище Франція, це якби підняло інтерес в Африці, вони втратили.